I've been promising my kids for years to take them down to Enchanted Forest, and I finally made it happen. We were gonna go before COVID, and then everything shut down. So this is the place that my grandma took us to growing up, so it has a special place in my heart and has been something that I've been wanting to share with my kids for a while. Thank you for watching. I make a new video on life and real estate here in Southwest Washington every week. Make sure that you subscribe and turn the bell on for notifications when a new video is uploaded. I put together an info sheet on Enchanted Forest for you to use as you prepare for your own visit. So use the link in the description below if you want that. Just click on it, put your info, I'll send it to you. That's how that works. Stick around to the very end of this video if you want to hear the most important tip about what to do when you're going to Enchanted Forest from Vancouver. Okay, so Enchanted Forest is a family theme park. It's just south of Salem in Oregon. To get there from Vancouver, you take the 205 south or I-5. You know that those two freeways meet. And then you proceed down south of Salem. You can find their address on their website, but really, if you are driving and somewhat paying attention, you're not gonna miss the theme park. So the park itself is open seasonally, and it looks like it is closed for the season in October. Just make sure you check their website to make sure that it's open before you go down there. The hours are 10:30 in the morning to about 5 or 6 p.m. depending on the day. The cost is $19 per kid and $22 per adult. Children 2 and younger are free. And if you want to do any rides, the ride tickets are $1 a ticket, and the rides take about 3 to 5 tickets each. So you can buy online before you go and get a small discount, or else you can just buy at the gate. History of this theme park: it was built by a local guy named Roger Toft. He started construction in the early 1960s on the park and was ready to open the park in the 1970s, so it's been around a while. Here is a snippet from their website about the creation of Enchanted Forest. He formulated the idea for a theme park where he could use his creative talents, and though he had very little time or money to make his dream a reality, he persisted anyway. He purchased the original 20 acres of land off Interstate 5 for $4,000 in monthly payments of $50 and began construction in 1964, one bag of cement at a time. He repaired watches in his spare time to help finance his project and worked on building the park after work and on weekends. The Toft's own backyard became filled with storybook figures and small buildings, as Roger also used every spare second at home to work on his dream. It took him 7 years to build enough attractions in order to open the park in 1971, and the family has continued to add to the park every year since. As you mentally prepare yourself for this day trip, especially if you have young kids and need to have a game plan, the first thing to keep in mind is that this park is built on a hill. So make sure you wear good shoes and have your kids do the same. You're going to be on your feet a lot. There's plenty of shade, so I didn't really worry very much about sunscreen. I also had the kids bring a sweatshirt for about the first hour or two at the park because the sun wasn't quite hitting the park yet. Turned out that on that day, we definitely did not need that. But if you are going in September in the morning, then as you know, the mornings stay a little bit cooler, so bring a sweater with you. The first thing you will probably do when you get to the park is walk through Storybook Lane. At the end of Storybook Lane is the shoe slide, which kids love. We started on the path about 30 minutes after the park opened, and the shoe slide, by the time we got through Storybook Lane, the shoe slide line was super long, so we skipped it, did the rest of the park, and then we actually came back to the shoe slide before leaving. And that worked a lot better for us because I hate waiting in line, and also the shoe slide does not require any tickets, so that was like a fun way to burn some time at the end. So keep in mind as you plan your day that they have cute plays, and a few times throughout the day that they do those plays. So it's going to help you when you get there to pay attention and figure out what time those plays are going on so that you can, time yourself correctly to get to the stage before that play starts. When you buy your entrance ticket, you'll have the chance to also buy tickets for the rides. So most rides are taking 3 to 5 tickets, and by my count, there are about 10 different opportunities to spend tickets on rides or attractions. So I spent 5 tickets on myself and 5 kids, or 4, so 5 total tickets. So $25 on doing the haunted house, which for us was not worth it. It was actually pretty scary, and the kids were overly confident going into it and then very scared and clinging to me the whole time. I basically just rushed them through the house as quickly as possible and left, and I don't think that was worth my money for $25. Next time, if the kids want to go in the haunted house, my rule is going to be you're going to do it on your own. That might be a little bit mean though, but they would survive. So here are the rides that they offer. They have the big timber log ride. This is exactly what it sounds like. And yes, you're going to get wet. You are going to float through an old logging mill and up in the trees to end in a 40-foot drop to spectacular splashdown. Another one is called the Challenge of Mondor. You search for Mondor the Wizard, who sends you on a quest to fight the creatures of the dark to free the happy little drumlins. It's like an interactive target shooting ride, and it keeps your score while you battle. We didn't actually do that one because I felt like my kids were a little bit too small. You can ice mountain bobsled, standing 100 feet tall with 1,600 feet of track. The ice mountain bobsled was first opened at Enchanted Forest in 1983. The ride is 2.5 minutes long and contains plenty of turns, drops, and bunny hops. That one is pretty fun, and like at some points it actually goes on its side and you think you're gonna fall. So, and there's more rides that don't really require explanation. There's obviously the haunted house. They have bumper cars, frog hopper, bumper boats, carousel. They have a kiddie train, kiddie Ferris wheel. I think that is it. So other things to do aside from rides while you are there. You can, like I said before, catch a play at the theater. Kids can explore the caves and go down the rabbit holes. You can ride that shoe slide at the end of Storybook Lane. There is like a shooting game and a boat driving area. My kids loved this. Bring quarters or dollars with you so that you can feed those machines. Like the boat driving thing, like there's like a little controller and then a pond, and they loved it. My kids are ages 4 to 9, and I think that we probably could have stayed at that area for like 45 minutes. Like they were having a blast. And I feel like now I should get one of those little remote control boats and convince my neighbors to let me use their pond. If you are wondering what you're gonna eat while you are there, you have a few options. First of all, they do allow outside food and drinks, which I am a big fan of because this summer I've gone to a number of theme parks, and buying food there is so expensive. So just bring a backpack with you, bring lunches. I was very prepared, and I packed a cooler with lunch items so that we could eat our own food, and I left it in the car. Turned out at lunchtime we were opposite end of the park from the car, and there was no way that I was going to haul my 4 kids all the way back to the car to get food and then have them walk back to where we left off, especially because the 4-year-old at this time was tired of walking, and I did not bring a stroller. So we bought pizza at the Jolly Roger light show area instead, and it worked out just fine, and it was kind of fun to sit there and watch the light show. Depending on the day, different food options are available. They do have a picnic area as well, so you can bring your own food and have somewhere to sit and eat. They also have a coffee stand near the entrance with muffins and other snacks and stuff. Okay, so traffic. If you are coming from Vancouver and going to Salem to hang out in Enchanted Forest for the day, you need to keep in mind that traffic might be tricky getting home. The only day I could make that this trip work this summer was on a Friday. And unfortunately, leaving the park at 2 p.m. to drive home on a Friday afternoon through Portland was like a horrible idea. I tend to be very optimistic, and I thought I was just gonna wing it and it's all gonna turn out fine. Well, it wasn't fine. It took a little bit longer for us to leave the park than I wanted it to, and we did not get on the road until about 2:15. All in all, it took us about 3 hours to get home, which is twice as long as it should have taken, and that's really bad traffic considering, you know, it should have been much quicker. I probably would not go on a Friday again unless I committed to leaving by 1 p.m. But if you're not even getting in till 10:30, that's like not very much time. And I don't like feeling rushed. It just makes it less fun. I would probably aim for a weekend or any day that's not Friday, because it just seems like Friday traffic is always the worst. So despite the traffic getting home, the trip was definitely worth it. My kids will forget about that long car drive. They slept most of the way anyways, but they are not going to forget our time at Enchanted Forest. So I highly recommend this little day trip. Again, it's about an hour and a half away from Vancouver. Totally worth your time. And also a great thing to support a local family-owned business.